All right, so I wanted to talk about my experience with the Puyo Grand Prix finals in Japan. And it was a crazy event, but first I was going to talk about um, what I was thinking about leading up to the event. So all of the pro players are just really good, and I knew that, and I didn't think it was feasible to get to their level in like a month of practice, just because it's really difficult. like it takes a lot of time and effort to improve. So I thought the best chance I had to do anything was to play to my strengths and what I'm good at now and come up with a strategy that worked with what I'm good at and then just go all in on that. like just do whatever I can with that. So the technique I came up with is something I call tail fire, where you make a really big attack on the tail, but the form you make is also something that you could convert into a main chain. And I'll talk more about it in a different video, but something like this. So that was the kind of strategy I wanted to use because I thought it would give me the best chance to win rounds because what my strengths are like reading the opponent's field and the opponent's next colors and trying to guess like how they're going to build and when they're going to be vulnerable and when you can like win with an attack and things like that. So if I could put a lot of pressure on with attacks, then I wouldn't have to play the big chain game as much where I'm not as strong as the pro players where they're going to be able to be more efficient and outchain me. So if I can make the match rely more on aggression and reading the opponent rather than chaining techniques, I would have a better chance to win, is what I thought. So I spent a lot of time practicing this technique, and then my goal was just to hopefully, maybe win one match. That would be a really big accomplishment, but just make it feel like I had the, even if I didn't win a match, make it feel like I had the potential to win a match, and then I could be happy with that. And then, so I practiced all that, and then went to the finals, and it was like a crazy experience because I've never played like it was a lot different. It felt like a lot bigger scale than any other Puyo event I've ever played in, and it felt very professional, is how I would describe it. Where it's like they had a bunch of staff on computers, like running the broadcast. They had all the announcers. They had helpers, like telling you where to go. There's a rehearsal before it started where they tell you, like, okay, this is what's going to happen. This is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to stand on this spot in the stage and all of that. And then this is how the match is going to go. This is the detailed schedule. Just felt very professional. And then it also felt like they treated you like a star, kind of, where it's like they paid to fly you out and put you in the hotel, and they paid for your meals and travel expenses and all of that. And then they had an emergency contact for you that you could get in touch with if you needed anything. And then it was just like I never thought when I started playing Puyo when I was younger that it would lead to something like this. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. and then so I just felt like it was a really good experience, and it's like, man, everyone should try this. But obviously, it's very hard to get to this point, and I don't necessarily recommend getting into Puyo with the goal of getting to this point because it's so difficult. So it's more like you have to do it because you enjoy doing it. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to put in the effort to actually make it because it's very difficult. But I don't know, unless maybe if you're super talented, you have a chance. Like the 10-year-old kids that win. And then, so it was a really good experience though, and
コメント、海外から応援してくれる皆さんに特にね、熱いプレーを見せつけたいということでね、本当この場にね、
I got this jersey.
今日
That's
集中
really
力を
cool.
高めて、この対戦に臨みます。さあ、いいプレー見せてもらいたいですね。さあ、それでは選手のセットようです。試合開始なんですね。さあ、ここは早いが、ただデルタ見ている。完全にカウンターが成立している。
Now, for the actual matches, there are different things that were like that made it really challenging because it's not the same as like an online tournament where you can just kind of control everything, like make sure you sleep and eat when you need to sleep and eat to like try and make sure you're in perfect condition. You can't really do that in live tournaments, and then they also provided the controllers, so you had to use their controllers, and sometimes some of them felt like they would misdrop a little more than others, and the piece would slide over when you don't want, or it wouldn't move over when you want it to move over. And then I've always played on player one side just because that's the default in every game. So playing on the player two side made it actually kind of a lot harder for me to look at the opponent while playing because like I'm just so used to like looking at a certain spot on my field and like being able to see the other person's field in my peripheral vision, I guess. But when you're on player two side, you have to like look the other way, so that made it harder. And
かなりいきなりリリアルダウンからかなり予想外の攻め手が飛んできたと思うんですけど、きちんと冷静に対応できてました。
this one round that I won, I used the Telfire, but I know I misdropped this piece because I wanted to be in column 4. So I moved over and then like shifted back over. So then I like slowed down trying to fix it. But I was like, okay, this is like 50-50, but like at this level, it's like I was playing with the mindset of it's like I'm gonna take every like 30-70 bet. I'm gonna take every bet that has a plausible chance to win the round at every time I get that chance. So I was like, okay, this has a plausible chance to win because he might. I don't see the blues coming, so it's like I'm taking this one. It's like, all right, there's the Telfire technique. And that was the only round I won. I think I had a chance in some rounds. But again, there's a lot of stuff where it's just like, it was hard for me to play at my absolute best. But even then, I might not have won much more or any more rounds. But there's one other good round that I probably should have won. Oh, this.
対戦相手からすると、まあ通常のねシングルの4連鎖に見えたんですけれども、さあ地雷珍しい。
This round I should have won, I think. I just couldn't. I made small mistakes and didn't get lucky. Okay, sure. No, the one shows.
そうですね。DDR ちょっと辛い。ランとしてはちょっと辛い展開。さあ、ただ、この3ダムのうちは早いんじゃないか。これはいいぞ。これはうまいぞ。これは動きが良くて、デルタとしてはさっきよりも苦しい盤面。だが、この2ダムの作り出し方がうまい。これはデルタの起死回生の2ダム。デルタ、これは
So I lost that one, 10-1. But the truth is, they're just actually that much better. It's like there's a really big skill gap still, at least between my level and their level. So it's like
ただ伸ばしがうまくいけばというところがうまくいかず、デルタが決めきりました。10対1でデルタの勝利。
this match, though, I feel like I played well and I had a chance to win if I like played my absolute best. But again, that's hard to do on the day on a live event. But this is another one where it's like that mindset of like, I'm gonna take the gambles that I think have a plausible chance of winning. So he seemed pretty kind of locked into sending a 2 double, so he might either send it too fast without, like, he might just send it with the blue or the yellow, or he might not get the purples and then the trigger. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna bet on it. And he didn't get the yellow. So I was like, okay. But this was the type of match that I wanted to play, where it's like, I want them to play, I want to play the game that I'm good at, which is like reading the opponent and finding the good times to attack. And so it felt like he was trying to fight me in what I'm good at. So I had a better chance of winning. And that's why I won a lot of rounds. And then in the later half of the match, he started to just like rely on what he was good at and hope I would mess up or not be able to win, kind of, where he would just like send a chain and hope that I couldn't. Oh, that was a misshot. I think. I think that was a misdrop on his side. But anyway, this match went. It went from 5-4 to 5-10. But I think I had a chance in this match. I made it look plausible. Then the last match it was 10. It was 2-10. So I didn't win any matches. I was a little bit disappointed in my performance at that point. But then like we watched the finals and it just felt like everything when I was sitting and watching, because to be honest, I haven't actually been watching Puyo that much recently. I've just been playing. But when I actually watched them play, like, and paid attention, it was like the things that they were doing were so crazy that it was like, I can't believe I won any points against players at this level. I was like, how, how do I even win points? That's actually, because it was like, especially the grand finals, it was like every point there was like brilliant moves. Like in every point, it was like, how are they doing this? And then I don't know, it just felt like I kind of felt better about my results after that because it was like, okay, I don't know if I, at my current skill level, I think I did as good as you could possibly expect me to do. Like, I don't think I could have done much better than that, and it's just they're just that much better. But um, it's, it's kind of funny because like I think a lot of people would be disappointed or like not want to like when you see how far ahead they are, even though I've been playing for so long. It's like it doesn't seem possible to catch up to their level, given that it's like if you've been playing this long and you can't even come close, how are you going to catch up to them? Because they're probably still going to get better too. So I think a lot of people would kind of maybe quit because of that. But for me, it's kind of the opposite because I guess I've just always had the mindset of like trying to prove that I can actually do something, even though it seems like it's really hard to do. So, um, most of the challenges I took on when I was younger were all about that, where it's like I wanted to prove I could be the best in the world in something to myself and to other people. And so I got a world record in Mario Kart. And then I was like, all right, I proved myself. And then I played the fighting game Arcana Heart, and no one thought that I could be good at the game because I only played online. So I had to prove myself to everyone else and to myself as well that's like, yeah, I can actually do this. I'm actually good at this. I have to prove myself to other people that I can actually do this. So that kind of motivated me to really push for it and try to be good. And even things like Mahjong, I wanted to prove like, yeah, if I work at it, I can come up with my own ideas, my own strategies, and become really good. And I don't have to learn from other people. I can come up with it myself. And I felt like I did that too. And then I like learned Japanese. I was like, well, I can do something like learn a language. I can prove that I can do that. But then it got, it's weird to say, but it got to a point where it felt like there's no one to prove anything to. There's nothing left to prove. It's like I kind of proven that I can do it, but now what do I do? It's like I can say I can probably go out and do this thing, but people will believe me because of what I've already done, so I don't have to prove myself anymore. It's like, and in some sense, I also like don't have to prove anything to myself anymore. It's like, well, I believe I can do it now. It's like if I just if I try to do it, given what I've done in the past, I just think I can do it. And it's like, I don't know, I might not, but I believe I could, and I don't have to prove it anymore. But this one, though, when I lost, I just had the feeling it's like, this one doesn't feel possible. It's like, I don't know. This one feels too hard, maybe. Like, I don't think I can actually do this one, maybe. But because I felt like that, then it reminded me of all the times in the past where it's like that was the driving factor where it's like, yeah, I this doesn't feel possible, but I want to prove to myself and to other people that it actually is possible, that I can actually do it. So then I was like, I think I want to go for this one even harder next year because this year I wanted to reach the world stage. I wanted to beat all the international players so that I can be like the person representing the international players. But I didn't necessarily have the goal of like beating the Japanese players. It was just kind of like, I don't think I'll catch up to them. They're too good. I just want to beat the international players and have the opportunity to compete on the stage and all of that. But after like being there competing on the stage. It's like if I play again next year, I want to have feel like I have a plausible shot of winning every match I play. And it might not happen, but I want to feel like I'm on the same level as the people I'm playing against, which it didn't feel like this time. So it's like I'm gonna have to put in a lot more effort. Gonna have to set that as the goal, and then adjust my training to like pursue that goal rather than just being good enough to beat the international players who are getting better. They might get close to that level too, but they aren't quite there yet, I would say. So I guess I feel like now I have something to prove again, but that gives me motivation to like go out and try and do it again. So it's like I'm actually pretty fired up now to try and get back and um, actually get to that level, see if I can do it. And it's kind of like I, I compare it to something like chess, to where it's like if I actually can get to the level where I can compete evenly with Japanese pros, then I'll feel like I could do something like get grandmaster in chess or something. Like I honestly believe it's that hard, to where it's like I would believe in myself that I could do something like become a grandmaster in chess or other hard things like that, where it's like I didn't do that, but I probably could if I tried, is how I would feel about it. But I don't know if I can do this one. Like this one's it's just really hard. So that's part of what makes it exciting to see what happens though. And even if I don't, like, I guess technically it's not necessarily guaranteed that there will be a next year competition, but I'm assuming there will be. And even if I don't end up making it back next year, I want to be good enough to where it's like if someone beat me, then they should be good enough to where they can compete against the Japanese pros as well. Where it's like I should be good enough that it's like if people beat me, then they should also be good enough to compete at this level. So I do like I want to win, but even if I don't win, I want to see some international players like get to the level to where it's like it feels like they're even with the best players. So we'll see what I can do to make that happen. But I do like it's funny because I was thinking that for a long time it's like I'm probably just gonna take a break from playing Puyo, and I was gonna just not actively try to get better at the game. Maybe play events kind of casually, but not that seriously. And then the global ranking series started, and I was like, okay, I should try pretty seriously for this. And I won. And I was like, okay, I was gonna take a break after the series because it was really long, but then I won. I was like, okay, I should practice for when I compete in Japan. And I was like, okay, after that, I'll take a break. But then when I lost in Japan, I kind of got fired up to try and get better again. So I guess I'm not gonna take a break from Puyo after all. But yeah, I guess I'm gonna try and beat the Japanese pros now. So not just like beat the international players, but it's a really tough goal. It's like way harder than most people would expect, and I know that, but I'm gonna take it on anyway and see what happens. But I guess that's all I have to say for now, and let's see what happens next year with Puyo.